To our amazing Infidelity Tales Lab family, welcome, and thank you for joining us. Your support means the world. Quick question, where are you listening from today? Which city? Which country? Drop it below. Now let's dive into today's story. Dr. Clinton Washington's gloved hands remained steady as he completed the final suture on his patient's chest. Another successful heart transplant, his third this month. At 52, his reputation at Memorial Hospital had become nearly legendary. Not a single transplant failure in 5 years. Excellent work as always, Dr. Washington. Dr. Sarah Chun, his assistant surgeon, said as they stepped away from the operating table. The way you handled that minor complication with the vessel, that was textbook perfection. Clinton nodded, his eyes crinkling above his surgical mask. Thank you, Sarah. Though I believe it's time we got you leading these procedures. You're more than ready. I learned from the best, she replied, then hesitated. Are you heading home early today? It's only 2. Yes, thought I'd surprise Marion. She's been preoccupied lately with her boutiques. Sarah's expression flickered with something. Concern perhaps, but she quickly masked it. Of course. Have a good weekend, Dr. Washington. As Clinton changed out of his scrubs, his phone buzzed with a text from his younger daughter, Sarah. Dad, can you help me with my Yale application essay this weekend? Mom's been too busy. He smiled, typing back. Of course, sweetheart. How about Saturday morning? The drive home in his Tesla Model S was peaceful, classical music providing a gentle backdrop to his thoughts. The tree-lined streets of the historic district welcomed him. Massive Victorian homes, standing as testament to old money and newer success stories like his own. Their house, a restored 1890s masterpiece, had been Marion's dream when they'd bought it 15 years ago. The garage door opened silently, and Clinton noticed Marion's Range Rover was parked inside. Strange, she usually spent Fridays at her flagship boutique downtown. As he entered through the kitchen, voices drifted from her home office. Lawrence, darling, you know I can't just leave. Yes, I know she's gone, but... No, he doesn't suspect anything. Marion's voice dropped lower, followed by a throaty laugh that Clinton had never heard before. He deliberately made noise hanging his keys, and the conversation abruptly ended. Marion emerged moments later, her perfectly highlighted hair framing an expression of practiced surprise. Clinton, you're home early. She slipped her phone into the pocket of her designer jeans. Everything okay at the hospital? Perfect transplant, he replied, studying her. At 48, Marion remained striking. Regular tennis matches and expensive skincare had preserved her beauty. But lately, there was something artificial in her smile, a coldness in her green eyes that hadn't been there before. That's wonderful, darling. She kissed his cheek, the gesture mechanical. I need to run to the store. Inventory issues. Don't wait up for dinner. Clinton watched her rush out, noticing she'd already changed purses to her evening clutch, the one she claimed was only for special client meetings. He'd seen it more frequently lately. The weekend arrived with its usual rhythm. Emma, their older daughter, came home from her boarding school sailing team practice. At 17, she was already showing Marion's beauty, but, thankfully, Clinton's warmth and integrity. Dad, did you know Mom's friend Mr. Valenzuela is building a new resort? Emma asked during breakfast Saturday morning. She showed me the plans last week when he visited the house. Clinton's hand stilled on his coffee cup. When was this? Emma suddenly looked uncertain. Maybe I wasn't supposed to mention that. Mom said it was a surprise business opportunity. It's fine, sweetheart. Tell me about your sailing competition. The conversation shifted, but Clinton filed away this information. Lawrence Valenzuela. The name tickled something in his memory. Sunday brunch had become their family tradition years ago, though Marion's attendance had grown spotty in recent months. Today, however, she was present, though her attention remained firmly on her phone. Buzz. Excuse me, darling, Marion said, stepping away from the table for the third time. Emma and Sarah exchanged glances. Clinton pretended to focus on his Eggs Benedict, but his surgeon's trained observation skills caught every detail. Marion's flushed cheeks when she returned, the slight tremor in her hand as she reached for her mimosa, the way her phone kept lighting up with notifications she tried to hide. Finally, Marion stood abruptly. Clinton, I need to speak with you. In your study, The girls watched their parents leave, concern evident on their faces. Clinton's study was a sanctuary, dark wood paneling, leather chairs, and walls of medical texts. Marion closed the door behind them. "Listen carefully," she said, her voice carrying an edge he'd never heard before. "Lawrence lost his wife last month. He's having a difficult time, and he needs support. I'm going to stay at his Bahamas villa for a month." Clinton leaned back in his chair, face impassive. "Lawrence Valenzuela?" "Yes." Marion's chin lifted defiantly. "He's been a valuable business connection. His development company is interested in expanding my boutique chain. A month is a long time to leave the stores. Jessica can manage them." Her expression hardened. "And Clinton? This stays between us. Emma and Sarah don't need to know about this arrangement. Remember who got them those college interviews? My family's connections run deep in the Ivy League. You wouldn't want anything to jeopardize their futures, would you?" The threat hung in the air like poison. Clinton's expression remained neutral, a skill perfected through years of delivering both good and bad news to patients' families. "When do you leave?" "Tomorrow morning. Early flight." Marion turned to leave, then paused. "Don't make this difficult, Clinton. Everyone will lose if you do." After she left, Clinton sat in his study for a long time, mind working with the precision that had made him one of the top surgeons in the country. He opened his laptop, fingers flying over the keys as he searched. Lawrence Valenzuela, real estate developer, luxury resorts primarily. Several articles about his wife's passing appeared, dated 3 years ago. Clinton's jaw tightened. He moved to their home office, where Marion kept their financial documents. Years of managing hospital departments had taught him to follow paper trails. Within an hour, he discovered irregularities in their joint accounts, systematic transfers to offshore locations, dating back 18 months. His phone buzzed. "Dr. Chun." "Dr. Washington?" I've been debating whether to tell you this. Last week, I saw Mrs. Washington at Le Blanc with a man. They seemed intimate. I wouldn't mention it, but as your colleague and friend..." "Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate your honesty." Clinton's voice remained steady. "Would you recognize him again?" "Yes. Tall, Mediterranean-looking. Very expensive suit. He's been in the society pages. Lawrence Valenzuela." After hanging up, Clinton stood at his study window, watching the sun set over their manicured garden. Marion had always been ambitious, materially focused. He'd accepted that, balanced it with his own dedication to saving lives. But this level of deception... His phone lit up with a text from Emma. "Dad, can we talk? It's about Mom and Mr. Valenzuela. Come to my study, sweetheart." Emma entered minutes later, twisting her hands nervously. "Dad, I think I need to tell you something. Last month, when I came home unexpectedly from sailing practice, I saw Mom and Mr. Valenzuela in her office. They were kissing. Mom made me promise not to tell, said it would ruin everything if I did. She said she'd make sure I didn't get into Yale if I told anyone." Clinton moved to hug his daughter, feeling her tears soak his shirt. "It's okay, Emma. You did the right thing telling me. Don't worry about Yale. Your grades and achievements will get you in, not manipulation." After Emma left, Clinton sat at his desk and began to plan. Marion had underestimated him. Many people did. They saw the calm, composed surgeon and assumed he lacked steel. They forgot that his profession required not just skill, but strategy, precision, and the ability to remain clear-headed in crisis. He opened his laptop again, this time logging into their home security system. The cameras Marion had insisted on installing after a break-in 3 years ago had captured hundreds of hours of footage. He began downloading it all, particularly focusing on the days when he'd been in surgery. "She didn't corrupt you," he murmured to his screen, watching footage of his daughters growing increasingly uncomfortable around their mother's business partner over the past year. "That's her biggest mistake." In their bedroom, Marion packed for her consolation trip, humming softly. She didn't notice Clinton's methodical documentation of every item she placed in her designer suitcases. The new lingerie with tags still attached, the jewelry he'd never seen before. Monday morning arrived bright and clear. Marion breezed through breakfast, dropping kisses on her daughters' heads. "Be good for your father, girls. Mom's just helping a friend through a tough time. Clinton watched her leave, noting how she didn't look back. In his pocket, his phone contained the numbers for Irene Randolph, forensic accountant extraordinaire, and Hope Mullins, the state's most ruthless divorce attorney. "Time to play, Marion," he whispered to himself. "Let's see how your paradise holds up to reality." Sarah looked up from her breakfast. "Dad, are you okay?" Clinton smiled at his daughter, genuine warmth replacing his cold calculation. "I'm fine, sweetheart. Better than fine. Sometimes the truth hurts at first, but it's always better than illusion. Now, how about we look at those college essays?" The morning after Marion's departure, Clinton sat in his home office, phone in hand. The number on his screen belonged to Irene Randolph, his friend from Yale who'd chosen forensic accounting over medical school. He hadn't called her in years, but she answered on the second ring. "Clinton, Washington? This is unexpected." Her voice carried the same sharp intelligence he remembered. "Please tell me you haven't murdered someone and need help hiding the money trail." "Nothing so dramatic, Irene, but I do need your expertise. How's your schedule today?" "For you? Wide open. Give me an address." 2 hours later, Irene's Tesla parked beside Clinton's in the circular driveway. She emerged wearing a tailored charcoal suit, tablet in hand, looking every bit the financial bloodhound she'd become. Clinton led her to his study, laying out the financial documents he'd gathered. "Marion's been moving money. I need to know where, how much, and how long it's been happening." Irene's fingers flew across her tablet as she accessed financial databases. "Your wife's boutiques are doing well, surprisingly well, actually. Almost too well for retail in this economy." She frowned. "Clinton, when was the last time you really looked at your joint accounts?" "Marion handled the finances. I trusted her." "Trusted?" Irene noted his use of past tense. "Smart man. Look at this pattern." She pulled up a series of transactions, highlighting the sophisticated way Marion had been moving funds through various accounts before they disappeared into offshore holdings. "She's been planning this for at least 18 months, Irene said. "And she's not just moving your joint money. These transfers from the boutiques. She's hiding substantial profits from the IRS." Clinton's expression remained neutral, but his eyes hardened. "Can you document everything?" "Already started. But Clinton, you need a lawyer. Not just any lawyer. You need Hope Mullins, the divorce attorney, the best divorce attorney in the state. She's ruthless, efficient, and discreet. Marion's financial maneuvers alone. Hope will have a field day with this." Clinton pulled out his phone, making another call. Hope's office scheduled him for that afternoon. "One more thing," Irene said, still analyzing the data. "Who's Lawrence Valenzuela?" "His development company shows up in several transactions with Marion's boutiques, but the numbers don't match any legitimate business dealings I can see." "Marion's grieving friend in the Bahamas." Irene's eyebrows shot up. "Grieving? His wife died 3 years ago. And from what I'm seeing, he's been making regular payments to a shell company owned by your wife since then." Clinton's jaw tightened. "Document everything, Irene. Every transaction, every connection. Already on it." "And Clinton? She's going to regret underestimating you." That afternoon, Clinton sat across from Hope Mullins in her corner office overlooking the city. At 60, Hope had the polished appearance of old money and the shrewd eyes of someone who'd earned every penny she had. "Dr. Washington," she said, reviewing the documents Irene had prepared. "Your wife has been busy, and not very clever about it. I want this handled quietly but completely," Clinton said. "I have 2 daughters to protect." "Speaking of your daughters," Hope pulled up something on her computer. "Your wife's family connections to the Ivy League admissions offices. They're not as strong as she claims. I've already checked. Your daughter's academic achievements and extracurriculars are more than enough to stand on their own." Clinton nodded, unsurprised. Another of Marion's manipulations exposed. "Here's what we're going to do," Hope continued. "While your wife enjoys her consolation trip, we'll build an ironclad case. First, we'll need to document her social media activity. She's in the Bahamas with her lover. People like that can't resist showing off. She thinks her accounts are private." Hope's smile was predatory. "Nothing's truly private. I have excellent cybersecurity experts who can document everything legally. Every poolside cocktail, every intimate dinner will help our case." "What about the boutiques?" "That's our ace. We'll request a routine audit, citing tax season preparations. Nothing suspicious about a successful business owner being thorough with his investments. Clinton's phone buzzed. A text from Sarah. Dad found some old photos of Mom and Mr. Valenzuela from last year's boutique opening. They look close. Should I send them to you? My daughters, Clinton explained to Hope. They've noticed things over the years. Perfect. Family testimony is powerful. But we need to protect them from any fallout. Over the next week, Clinton orchestrated his strategy with surgical precision. Each morning, he performed complex heart procedures, his reputation and skills unmarred by his personal situation. Each afternoon, he gathered evidence. The boutique audit revealed years of creative accounting. Marion's brother, James, had helped her hide profits and create false expenses. When confronted with the evidence, James's loyalty to his sister crumbled. I told her it was too risky, James admitted to the auditors. But Marion insisted. Said she needed a nest egg for her fresh start with Lawrence. Clinton received regular updates from the cybersecurity team Hope had hired. Marion's social media activity told its own story. While she claimed to be supporting a grieving friend, her posts showed a different reality. Intimate dinners, yacht parties, shopping sprees at exclusive boutiques. Look at this, Hope said during their weekly meeting, displaying photos from Marion's supposedly private Instagram. She's wearing a new Van Cleef & Arpels necklace, purchased with funds from your joint account last month. Clinton recognized the distinctive design. She told me she needed that money for store renovations. Every lie, every manipulation strengthens our case, Hope assured him. The financial fraud alone would destroy her in court. The affair is just the bitter icing on a very profitable cake. Emma and Sarah provided their own revelations during a Sunday dinner Clinton had started hosting in Marion's absence. Mom's been meeting Mr. Valenzuela for years, Emma said, pushing her pasta around her plate. Usually at the boutiques after hours. She said it was for business planning, but Sarah jumped in. Remember last Christmas? When she missed my choir concert because of a store emergency? I saw her with him at Le Méridien when Jessica's family was having dinner there. Clinton listened, his heart aching for his daughter's lost innocence, but proud of their strength. You don't have to worry about Yale or any other college, he assured them. Your achievements are your own. No one can take those away. The girls exchanged glances. We know, Dad, Emma said. We've been looking at other options anyway. Schools where we can earn our way in. As the month progressed, Clinton's case grew stronger. The boutique auditors uncovered more financial irregularities. Marion's social media activity provided a daily record of her indiscretions. Her brother, faced with potential criminal charges for his role in the tax fraud, agreed to provide detailed testimony about her schemes. Irene's forensic analysis painted a damning picture. She's been building toward this for years, she told Clinton. The offshore accounts, the hidden profits, the fake business expenses with Valenzuela's company. She thought she was being clever, but she left a trail a first-year accounting student could follow. Hope compiled everything into an airtight case. When she returns, she said, she'll find her paradise was built on quicksand. In the final week of Marion's consolation trip, Clinton received an unexpected visit from Lawrence Valenzuela's ex-business partner, Michael Chen. I heard through the grapevine that you're building a case, Michael said, sitting in Clinton's study. I have something you might find interesting. He produced documents showing how Lawrence and Marion had been planning development projects together for years, using Clinton's medical reputation and connections to attract investors. They were playing a long game, Michael explained, using your credibility to build their own opportunities. Lawrence has a history of this, finding successful, respected professionals, using their spouses to access their networks. Usually ends in divorce, with the spouse getting a nice payout from the hidden business dealings. Clinton's expression remained impassive, but his fingers tightened on his desk. Thank you, Mr. Chun. This is very helpful. As Marion's return approached, Clinton prepared the final pieces of his strategy. The evidence was organized, the legal documents prepared, the financial investigations ready to launch. Everything's in place, Hope confirmed during their final meeting. The minute she returns, we'll serve her with divorce papers and the audit notices. Her accounts will be frozen pending investigation. The IRS is very interested in the tax fraud evidence we've uncovered. Clinton looked out over the city from Hope's office. She thought she was building a paradise, he said quietly. She didn't realize she was constructing her own trap. What about Valenzuela? Hope asked. He's not going to escape unscathed. Let him enjoy their last few days together, Clinton said. His development empire is built on similar schemes with other investors. Once the investigations start, he'll show his true colors. The night before Marion's scheduled return, Clinton sat with his daughters in their family room, watching them work on college applications to schools they'd chosen themselves. Dad? Sarah looked up from her laptop. Are we awful people for helping with all this? Against Mom? Clinton met his daughter's worried gaze. No, sweetheart. We're not destroying your mother. We're simply showing the truth. She made her choices. Now she has to live with the consequences. Emma closed her laptop. She thought we were her pawns, that we'd be too scared of losing her connections to stand up to her. She underestimated all of us, Clinton said. That was her biggest mistake. As he worked in his study later that night, Clinton received a text from Marion. Everything's wonderful here. Lawrence and I have such exciting plans to discuss when I return. You'll see this was all for the best. Clinton didn't respond. Instead, he reviewed the final evidence package Hope had prepared. Every document, every transaction, every photograph told the story of Marion's betrayal and manipulation. Tomorrow, her carefully constructed paradise would begin to crumble. Check, he murmured, closing the file. And soon, mate, Marion's heels clicked against the marble foyer of her Victorian home, designer luggage in tow. The month in paradise had left her glowing with confidence, bronze skin offset by an expensive white linen suit. Her smile faltered as she noticed the stillness of the house. Clinton, she called out. Emma? Sarah? No response. Just the quiet hum of the air conditioning. She wheeled her luggage toward the master bedroom, pausing at the sight of papers arranged precisely on her antique mahogany desk. The first document bore the letterhead of Hope Mullins. ESQ. Marion's manicured fingers trembled as she lifted the divorce petition. Beneath it lay IRS audit notices, bank statements, and printed screenshots of her not-so-private social media posts from the Bahamas. Her phone rang. Lawrence. Darling, I just landed. How's Dash? They know. Her voice cracked. Clinton knows everything. There are divorce papers, Lawrence. And IRS audits. Calm down. Your husband's a surgeon, not a detective. We planned for this. Marion grabbed her laptop, typing frantically to access their accounts. No. Each attempt met the same response. Account frozen, pending investigation. Her phone buzzed again. Her brother James. Marion, I'm sorry. They have everything. The creative accounting, the offshore transfers, all of it. I had to tell them. You betrayed me? Marion hissed. They have proof of tax fraud. Years of it. I'm not going to prison for you. The front door opened. Clinton entered, impeccable in his surgical scrubs, expression neutral. Welcome home, Marion. His voice carried the same calm he used with patience. I trust paradise was everything you hoped? Clinton, this is ridiculous. I can explain, Dash. The time for explanations passed somewhere between your offshore accounts and your poolside photos with Lawrence. He gestured to the papers. Everything's documented. Your financial fraud. Your affair. Your manipulation of our daughters. Our daughters? Marion's laugh held a hysterical edge. My family's connections are the only reason they have a shot at the Ivy League. You really want to destroy their futures over some meaningless fling. Interesting perspective. Clinton sat behind his desk. Emma and Sarah's academic records, test scores, and extracurriculars are exceptional. Your supposed connections? Hope Mullins checked. They don't exist. Marion's composure cracked. You had no right to investigate me. You gave up your rights when you started stealing from our accounts. Did Lawrence promise you a percentage of the development projects? The ones you used my reputation to promote. Her silence confirmed everything. The next weeks unfolded like a precisely planned surgery. Marion and Lawrence attempted damage control, threatening to destroy Clinton's medical career with her family's influence. Dr. Washington, the hospital board chairman, Dr. Richards, called Clinton to his office. We received some concerning letters about your personal conduct. Clinton placed a folder on the chairman's desk. My complete personal and professional documentation, including evidence of how my wife and her lover attempted to use my reputation to secure fraudulent investments. Dr. Richards reviewed the papers, nodding slowly. Clinton, you've saved countless lives here. Your integrity is beyond question. Consider this matter closed. Marion's carefully constructed world continued crumbling. The IRS investigation forced her to sell her boutiques to cover back taxes. Her social circles, sensing disaster, quickly distanced themselves. Lawrence proved just as fair weather. Clinton received a call from his lawyer. Dr. Washington, Mr. Valenzuela wishes to dissociate himself from this situation. He's willing to provide documentation of Mrs. Washington's financial misconduct in exchange for certain considerations. Interesting, Clinton replied. Tell Mr. Valenzuela his development empire's similar schemes with other investors are already documented. He might want to focus on his own legal troubles. Emma and Sarah chose to stay with their father, their mother's manipulation finally clear. She used to threaten us, Emma revealed during a family dinner. Said if we got too close to you, she'd make sure we never got into good schools. That her family would blacklist us. Sarah nodded. Remember when I wanted to quit tennis for debate club? She said maintaining her country club image was more important than my silly interests. Clinton squeezed their hands. You're free now. Choose the schools and activities you want. Your achievements are yours alone. The divorce proceedings moved swiftly. Marion's financial fraud, combined with the prenuptial agreement Clinton's father had insisted upon, left her only what she'd earned legitimately, which, after the IRS took their share, was virtually nothing. 1 year later, Clinton sat in his study, reading a letter postmarked from a small town where Marion had moved in with her sister. My dearest Clinton, it began, I see now how Lawrence manipulated me. He promised me everything, a chain of luxury boutiques, a resort empire, a life of endless summer. I was blind, but I've changed. The girls need their mother. You need your wife. We can start fresh. Clinton placed the letter in his shredder without finishing it. On his computer screen, security footage from their front door camera played silently. Years of business meetings that told the real story. That evening, he helped Emma pack for college. She'd earned a full merit scholarship to Stanford. Dad, she paused, holding a family photo from happier times. Do you ever regret how things ended with Mom? No, Clinton said simply. I regret that she chose deception over honesty. But the truth always emerges. Sometimes it hurts, but it's always better than living a lie. Sarah appeared in the doorway. Mom sent me another email. Says she's found herself in her new life. And what did you do? Clinton asked. Marked it as spam. Sarah shrugged. I've got debate team finals to focus on. Clinton smiled, proud of his daughter's strength. The Victorian house felt different now. Cleaner somehow, as if Marion's lies had been a subtle poison finally cleared from the air. That night, he performed another successful heart transplant, his reputation stronger than ever. His patients and colleagues respected not just his surgical skill, but his grace under pressure. As he drove home, past Marion's former boutiques, now a thriving local business under new ownership, Clinton reflected on the past year. Marion's paradise had been a mirage, built on manipulation and greed. His truth, though harder one, was solid ground. The front door security camera clicked as he entered his home, its faithful recording a reminder that sometimes the best revenge was simply ensuring that lies couldn't survive in the light of day. Inside, Emma and Sarah's laughter echoed from the kitchen. They were baking cookies for Sarah's debate team celebration, their futures now limited only by their own ambitions and efforts. Clinton hung his coat in the closet that had once housed Marion's designer collection. Paradise lost, he murmured, truth found. 5 years later, Clinton Washington sat in his modernized study, reviewing the morning's news on his tablet. A small headline caught his eye. Resort developer Lawrence Valenzuela faces federal indictment. The article detailed Lawrence's fall from grace. His pattern of using wealthy spouses for investment schemes had finally caught up with him. The SEC investigation, triggered partly by Clinton's evidence years ago, had uncovered a web of fraud spanning decades. Lawrence faced 20 years in federal prison. Clinton's phone buzzed. A text from Emma. Dad, saw the news about Lawrence. Karma's real. isn't it? He smiled, remembering how far they'd come. Emma, now 22, was finishing her medical degree at Stanford, following in his footsteps, but blazing her own trail in neurosurgery. Sarah, 20, studied law at Columbia, her debate skills serving her well in mock trials. That evening, during their weekly video call, Sarah shared news of her own. Remember Mom's brother James? He just finished his prison sentence. 3 years for tax fraud. How's he doing? Clinton asked. Working as a bookkeeper for a small construction company. Says he's learned his lesson about creative accounting. 10 years later, Clinton's retirement from surgery party filled Memorial Hospital's conference room. At 62, he performed his last transplant, a record-breaking success rate of 98% over his career. Dr. Sarah Chun, now chief of surgery herself, raised a toast. Dr. Washington didn't just save hearts. He showed us that integrity and excellence go hand in hand. After the celebration, Emma pulled him aside. Dad, I heard about Mom through Aunt Lisa. Marion's attempt at rebuilding had failed spectacularly. After moving in with her sister, she'd tried starting a small boutique in their town. But her old habits resurfaced. She'd embezzle from her sister's savings, claiming she needed it for business investments. Lisa kicked her out, Emma continued. She's working as a sales clerk at a department store in Nevada. Still tells everyone she used to own a fashion empire. Clinton nodded, unsurprised. So people never learned. The years had transformed their Victorian home. Clinton had donated Marion's remaining possessions to charity, redecorating with warm, modern touches that reflected his daughter's tastes. The security cameras remained, a quiet reminder that truth needs safeguarding. 15 years later, Sarah's wedding filled their backyard with joy. Her bride, Catherine, a fellow attorney, had helped her prosecute white-collar crimes. They'd bonded over stories of financial fraud cases. During the reception, Clinton overheard an interesting conversation. Lawrence Valenzuela had died in prison, alone and penniless. His children from his first marriage had refused to claim his body, disgusted by the extent of his schemes revealed during the investigation. Emma, now a renowned neurosurgeon, attended with her husband James, a pediatrician she'd met during residency. Their 3-year-old daughter played near the fountain, her laughter echoing where Marion's threats once hung. A guest mentioned seeing Marion recently. She'd aged badly, bitter and still blaming others for her downfall. She worked retail jobs, moving from city to city, leaving a trail of small-time scams and burned bridges. She tried contacting me last month, Emma said quietly. Wanted money for a business opportunity. Said she deserved another chance, because she's my mother. What did you do? Sarah asked. Sent her the number for a therapist. Then blocked her. 20 years later. At 72, Clinton focused on mentoring young surgeons and enjoying his grandchildren. Emma had 2 daughters and a son. Sarah and Catherine had adopted twins. The medical wing named after him at Memorial Hospital stood as testament to his legacy. The Clinton-Washington Fellowship funded scholarships for underprivileged medical students, emphasizing both skill and ethics. A letter arrived from Marion's sister Lisa. Marion had died alone in a Las Vegas hospital, still convinced the world had wronged her. She'd never admitted her role in her own destruction, never stopped trying to manipulate others until the end. The obituary was small. Marion Washington, 70, former boutique owner, passed away. No services planned. Clinton donated the equivalent of her funeral costs to a women's shelter, then focused on helping Emma's oldest daughter with her medical school applications. 25 years later, the Washington family gathered for Clinton's 77th birthday. His grandchildren, ranging from teenagers to toddlers, filled the Victorian home with the joy it had always deserved. Emma had become chief of neurosurgery at Stanford Medical Center. Sarah made partner at her law firm, specializing in protecting whistleblowers who expose financial fraud. Clinton's memoir, Healing Hearts, A Surgeon's Journey Through Medicine and Truth, became required reading at medical schools. Its chapter on ethics and personal integrity resonated far beyond the medical community. The security cameras were finally removed during renovations, but Clinton kept one, the front door camera that had captured Marion's deceptions. He donated it to a museum of technological history, a reminder that truth finds its way to light. 30 years later, at 82, Clinton moved into a luxury senior living community near Emma's home in California. His mind remained sharp as ever, though his hands no longer performed surgery. He volunteered at a clinic providing medical care to domestic abuse survivors, recognizing how manipulation and financial control trap people in toxic relationships. The Washington Family Foundation, established with his retirement funds, supported both medical research and programs helping people rebuild after financial fraud. Sarah's legal firm handled cases pro bono through the foundation. Final years. Clinton Washington passed away peacefully at 87, surrounded by family. His legacy lived on not just in the thousands of lives he'd saved through surgery, but in the examples he'd set. The Clinton Washington Medical Ethics Chair at Stanford, the Washington Integrity in Medicine Award, scholarship programs at multiple universities, legal funds for fraud victims, and most importantly, 2 daughters and 7 grandchildren who carried his values forward. His obituary filled 2 full pages in medical journals and newspapers. The contrast with Marion's lonely end couldn't be starker. Emma and Sarah found his final journal entry while sorting his papers. Truth isn't always gentle, but it's always right. Marion chose deception and found destruction. I chose truth and found peace. The heart I spent my life protecting, both literally and figuratively, was my own and those of my children. Some would say revenge is best served cold. I say justice is best served with unwavering adherence to truth. Marion and Lawrence built a paradise on lies. I built a legacy on truth. The difference lies not in the immediate satisfaction, but in the foundation that remains when time strips away all pretense. Aftermath. The Washington family story became a case study in ethics courses and law schools. Not for the revenge aspect, but for how systematic documentation and unwavering integrity could overcome manipulation and fraud. Marion's boutique buildings were eventually converted into a successful chain of women's business centers, helping entrepreneurs start legitimate businesses with transparent accounting. Lawrence Valenzuela's development empire was dismantled, the properties sold to repay his victims. His name became synonymous with investment fraud in real estate circles. Clinton's daughters ensured his principles lived on. Emma established medical clinics in underserved areas. Sarah's firm specialized in protecting families from financial fraud. Their children carried forward his legacy of integrity in their own careers. The Victorian home became a historical landmark, its story preserved as an example of how truth, though sometimes painful, provides the only foundation for lasting happiness. Clinton's great-grandchildren grew up hearing not a story of revenge, but of integrity's triumph over deception. The security camera footage remained in the museum, a technological relic that helped expose a web of lies and set a family free. The Washington family name became synonymous not with scandal, but with healing, of bodies through Emma's medical work, of justice through Sarah's legal advocacy, and of truth through Clinton's enduring legacy. Marion and Lawrence's fate served as a cautionary tale. Paradise built on lies becomes a prison, while truth, though harder to maintain, builds a legacy that outlives its architect. Clinton's final victory wasn't in destroying Marion's false paradise, but in building something real and lasting in its place, a dynasty of healing, truth, and unwavering integrity that would influence generations to come. And there you have it. Another story comes to an end. What did you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this story, consider joining our community by subscribing. It means the world to us. For more stories like this one, check out the recommended videos on screen, and I'll see you there.